Breaking. Queen Mary flees Denmark after shocking lawsuit. Bombshell. Court decision about King Frederik photos triggers royal crisis. Welcome to BNews. In an absolutely stunning development that has sent shockwaves through the Danish royal family and dominated headlines across Europe, on November 2, 2025, Queen Mary of Denmark has reportedly left the country following a bombshell court decision in a high-profile lawsuit involving a prominent socialite and controversial photographs of King Frederik, a legal ruling that has triggered what royal insiders are describing as the most serious crisis to hit the Danish monarchy since King Frederik's accession to the throne in January 2024. The lawsuit, which has been making its way through the Danish legal system amid intense media scrutiny and public fascination, centers on photographs and allegations that have put enormous pressure on the royal family and apparently created such untenable circumstances that Queen Mary felt compelled to temporarily distance herself from Denmark entirely. Royal correspondent Sharon Hunt, who has been following this explosive story from the beginning and has cultivated sources deep within royal circles, reveals that the fallout from the court's decision extends far beyond legal technicalities into questions about the monarchy's stability, the state of Frederik and Mary's marriage, and whether the Danish royal family can weather this unprecedented storm. The timing of Queen Mary's departure, coming so soon after the court ruling and amid swirling speculation about the royal couple's relationship, has been interpreted by many observers as a dramatic statement about her emotional state, her response to whatever the lawsuit revealed or confirmed, and potentially her willingness to continue in her role as Queen of Denmark under these circumstances. While palace officials have remained tight-lipped about the specifics, issuing only carefully worded statements that neither confirm nor deny the most explosive allegations, the fact that Queen Mary has physically left the country speaks volumes about the severity of the situation and the devastating personal impact these developments have had on Denmark's Australian-born queen. If you're absolutely stunned by this shocking development in the Danish royal crisis, make sure you like this video immediately, subscribe to BNews for Sharon Hunt's exclusive insider coverage you won't find anywhere else, and smash that notification bell so you never miss our breaking updates on this developing royal scandal. Comment below with your reaction. Can the Danish monarchy survive this crisis? The lawsuit at the center of this royal crisis has been the subject of intense speculation and media coverage for months, with the socialite plaintiff claiming various grievances related to photographs of King Frederik and seeking remedies through the Danish court system in ways that have forced uncomfortable details and allegations into the public domain despite the palace's best efforts at damage control. According to Sharon Hunt's reporting and information pieced together from court filings, media reports, and confidential royal sources, the photographs in question allegedly show King Frederik in circumstances or contexts that raise questions about judgment, propriety, and behavior appropriate for a reigning monarch. While the exact nature of the photographs and the specific allegations in the lawsuit have been subject to various levels of legal protection, suppression orders, and privacy considerations that have prevented full public disclosure, enough information has leaked or been officially revealed through the legal process to create a firestorm of speculation about what exactly the images show and what they might indicate about the king's private life and personal conduct. The socialite bringing the lawsuit is reportedly a well-connected figure in European high society circles who has intersected with royal social networks and claims to have been wronged or damaged in ways that justify legal action and public airing of matters the palace would vastly prefer remain private. The decision by this individual to pursue legal remedies rather than accepting whatever private settlements or accommodations might have been offered suggests either genuine grievance strong enough to override the considerable social and practical disincentives to suing royalty, or alternative motivations related to publicity, financial gain, or personal vendetta. The Danish legal system, unlike some European jurisdictions with more extensive protections for royal privacy and dignity, apparently provides sufficient access to justice that such lawsuits can proceed despite the defendant's royal status, creating situations where monarchs can find themselves subject to legal processes that expose aspects of their lives they would strongly prefer to keep confidential. The bombshell court decision that apparently triggered Queen Mary's departure from Denmark has not been fully disclosed in public reporting, with various legal restrictions, privacy protections, and strategic palace communications management limiting what information is definitively confirmed versus speculated about. However, Sharon Hunt's sources indicate that the ruling went against the royal family's interests in some significant way, perhaps rejecting motions to dismiss the case, denying requests to seal certain evidence or testimony, allowing particular allegations or evidence to be admitted that the palace fought to exclude, or making findings of fact that the royals consider damaging or misleading. Court decisions in cases involving public figures and matters of public interest must balance competing considerations. The parties, legitimate privacy interests versus the public's right to information about those in positions of power and authority, legal fairness and due process versus special considerations that might be appropriate for constitutional monarchs, and the technical legal merits versus broader questions about whether the legal system should be used to air dirty laundry about royal families. The specific nature of the court's ruling and its implications remain somewhat opaque to outside observers, but the fact that it apparently created circumstances Queen Mary found so intolerable that she left the country suggests the decision either revealed information deeply damaging to her marriage, validated allegations she hoped would be dismissed as false, or created a public relations nightmare that she felt unable or unwilling to face while remaining in Denmark. Royal sources speaking to Sharon Hunt have painted a picture of a queen under enormous emotional stress, feeling betrayed, humiliated, or overwhelmed by the situation and concluding that temporary departure from Denmark was the only viable response to circumstances that had become unbearable. Whether this departure represents a brief cooling-off period while she processes difficult emotions and considers her options, or signals something more permanent and serious about her willingness to continue as queen, remains a subject of intense speculation. Sharon Hunt's behind-the-headlines reporting reveals that the fallout from this lawsuit and the court's decision extends far beyond Queen Mary's departure into broader questions about the Danish monarchy's stability, public support, and ability to weather scandals in an era of reduced deference to royal privilege. The Danish royal family has generally enjoyed strong public support throughout most of its modern history, with Danes taking considerable pride in their ancient monarchy while also expecting their royals to behave with appropriate dignity and awareness of their responsibilities. King Frederik, prior to this controversy, had been widely viewed as a generally well-prepared and reasonably effective monarch who, along with the popular Queen Mary, represented a modernized and relatable version of Danish royalty appropriate for the 21st century. However, the allegations and photographs at the center of this lawsuit, whatever they specifically show or suggest, have apparently damaged that image significantly, raising questions among some Danes about whether their king has behaved with the judgment and propriety his position demands. Public opinion polling, if conducted on this sensitive topic, would likely reveal generational and ideological divisions. Younger, more Republican-leaning Danes might view any scandal as confirmation that hereditary monarchy is an outdated institution, while older, more traditional monarchists might defend Frederik or suggest that personal failings don't necessarily undermine someone's capacity to fulfill constitutional duties. The impact on Queen Mary's public image is equally complex. Some segments of the public apparently view her with sympathy as a wronged spouse who married into difficult circumstances and doesn't deserve the humiliation these revelations have caused, while others question why she would leave the country rather than standing by her husband and fulfilling her duties regardless of personal difficulties. The palace's communication strategy throughout this crisis has apparently been reactive and defensive rather than getting ahead of the story, suggesting either that the royal household was genuinely surprised by developments they couldn't have anticipated, or that they fundamentally misread the situation's severity and public response. The devastating fallout for the Danish royals that Sharon Hunt's reporting reveals extends into multiple dimensions that will take considerable time and effort to address, if they can be fully addressed at all. The most immediate concern is Queen Mary's status and future. Her physical departure from Denmark raises obvious questions about whether she intends to return, under what conditions she might be willing to resume her duties, and whether this situation could ultimately lead to separation or even divorce between Denmark's king and queen. The constitutional and practical complications of a reigning monarch's marriage ending while they remain on the throne are substantial, though not unprecedented in modern European royal history. Such a development would raise questions about Mary's title and status, her relationship with her children and their positions in the succession, her living arrangements and financial provisions, and the broader implications for the monarchy's image and public support. The impact on the couple's 4 children, Crown Prince Christian, Princess Isabella, and twins Prince Vincent and Princess Josephine, must also be considered, as they navigate this family crisis while also managing their own public roles and the intense scrutiny that comes with being young royals in the digital age. The broader institutional damage to the Danish monarchy is harder to quantify but potentially serious. Each scandal or crisis that diminishes public respect for royal figures and raises questions about their judgment or behavior potentially weakens the institution's legitimacy and provides ammunition to those who question whether constitutional monarchy remains appropriate for modern democratic societies. The comparison to other European royal families facing their own challenges and scandals becomes inevitable, from the ongoing complications facing the British royal family to the historical scandals that forced King Juan Carlos of Spain to abdicate. the Danish situation now joins a broader pattern of 21st-century royal families struggling to maintain dignity and public support amid evolving social standards and relentless media scrutiny. Whether King Frederik and the Danish monarchy can successfully navigate this crisis, rebuild public trust, and potentially reconcile with Queen Mary to restore some version of normal royal family function remains one of the most significant unanswered questions in European royal watching today. What's your take on this absolutely shocking Danish royal crisis? Do you sympathize with Queen Mary's decision to leave Denmark, or should she have stayed to fulfill her duties? Can King Frederik and the monarchy recover from this scandal? Do you think the marriage can survive, or is this the beginning of the end for Denmark's royal couple? Share your honest reactions, thoughts on royal marriages under pressure, and predictions for what happens next in the comments below. Subscribe to BNews and Sharon Hunt's exclusive royal coverage for continued updates on this developing crisis that has everyone talking. Hit that like button if you think there's even more to this story that hasn't been revealed yet.